Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about every single secondary weapon in Space Marine 2 patch 10.3 and tier listing them. Now, secondary weapons are arguably the most important weapon type in this game because for classes like Assault and Bulwark, they have no primary whatsoever, and the current way that CHP recovery is calculated in Space Marine 2, it prioritizes ranged weapons over melee weapons, so for them, having a good secondary for recovery is top tier, and unfortunately, weapons that don't have good CHP recovery or damage kind of suck. Now, I'm going to go through these all here today and rank them. So first up, we have the Bolt Pistol. Now, the standard Bolt Pistol used to be the primary selection for things like Sniper or Tactical, but as of like patch 6.0 or 7.0, they did add the Heavy Bolt Pistol to every single class in Space Marine 2. This thing has kind of been completely power crept. In patch 10.0, they did buff up the headshot multiplier a little bit, but to be honest, increasing the headshot multiplier of this really didn't help at all, and the biggest buff it ever got was the Heroic Bolt Pistol we'll get into later. But for now, I would say the Bolt Pistol is simply a power crept weapon in Space Marine 2. It still needs buffs. The only thing it's really good for is ammo economy, but even then, the ammo economy on the Heavy Bolt Pistol is not that bad at all, and the accuracy is decent, but not quite good enough to make up for everything else. So I would say this one goes into D tier. It's just a power crept weapon. That's the best way to put it. It's just unfortunately not worth taking over every other option. Next weapon we have here is the Inferno Pistol. Now, this might be my hottest take on this whole list. I think the Inferno Pistol is far better now in patch 10.0 than it was in patch 9.0 and previously. The Chaos Spawn currently have a broken headshot multiplier. You cannot get full headshot damage on them at all. That is why they are so hard to actually break out of a reinforcement column, things like that. So the Inferno Pistol stagger, CHP regen, and amazing ammo economy actually helps a ton. This thing's a pretty strong weapon. The biggest downside is, of course, the range and the terrible gunstrike damage. And on top of the terrible gunstrike damage this gun has, it has a limited gunstrike range. Now, having a limited gunstrike range in this game sucks ass. There are things like zone throw, so you'll perfect dodge and simply be unable to shoot back. Things like a Carnifex will run through you and you won't be able to gunstrike them because it'll run out of your range. That is a very annoying thing in this game, and on top of that, the gunstrike damage does way too little damage for how detrimental that lowered gunstrike range actually is. That being said, this weapon has the best ammo economy of any single secondary in the game, especially if you take the ammo version. You will practically never run out. Really strong for that. I would put it in B tier. I really don't think it's that bad of a weapon. Some people hate this thing. They simply hate the damage output. They hate the inability to do significant gun strikes. But a big thing that's a benefit for the Inferno Pistol is the stagger can put out consistently. Things like these Soul Reaper Cannon Terminators, you simply have to stagger these while they are shooting you with their gigantic Soul Reaper Cannon, and things like the Chaos Spawn, they really do benefit from being staggered constantly. So Inferno Pistol, really powerful option for that. I did take this to the Mulith Vortex Beast on Assault, and it was way overperforming compared to what I expected. And overall, the Inferno Pistol, it is not an A or S tier weapon right now, but it's still pretty good. If you want to take this versus Chaos or Tyranids, it's not going to be the worst thing ever. So I would say it goes into B tier. Next up, we have the Heavy Bolt Pistol. Now, I believe the Heavy Bolt Pistol is one of the strongest secondaries in the entire game. It has pretty decent CHP recovery, great damage, and pretty decent ammo economy. The biggest problem with this gun is the horrific bloom on the ammo reserve option, which is one you usually want to take, especially on Assault and Bulwark. Now, previously, this weapon used to be only on the Assault class when the game came out, but is currently on every single class in Space Marine 2 to the detriment of the standard Bolt Pistol. It's kind of been power crept entirely by this thing, and the Heavy Bolt Pistol, while not the best sidearm in the entire game, is top tier for sure. I would say this is a solid A tier weapon. There's only one gun I would say is over this currently, and as far as gunstrike damage is concerned, the Heavy Bolt Pistol has the highest single target gunstrike damage in the entire game. Great for gunstrike builds on the Assault and even the Vanguard to get things like tactical prowess, triggers on the enemies for your zone of impact triggers. Really powerful option for that, and the Heavy Bolt Pistol is a certified A tier. I don't think most people disagree with that. Next weapon we have here is the Neo Volkite. Now, the Neo Volkite is a strange gun. I don't think this gun is very good on classes like Bulwark or Assault, mainly because its CHP recovery is god-awful. This thing shoots out a little laser beam, and the only significant CHP recovery you're going to get is off of the explosion of heating up an enemy, which really takes too long at times. I will say the benefit of this weapon is that you can stagger off of that explosion, so things like Soul Reaper Cannon Terminators do get knocked over by that. And for the Vanguard, I think that is a very powerful option. It's actually my preferred secondary on that class for that reason, because unlike a class like the Bulwark or the Assault, the Vanguard does not need the CHP recovery from his secondary. He can simply get that from his primary, the Bolt Carbine, Melter Rifle, or even an Oculus, so he can really take full advantage of this thing. And what the Neo Volkite is very strong for is wiping out things like Cultists and Spore Mines, and the ammo economy is also quite strong. And that stagger, especially on the Vanguard, where it's kind of hard to get a secondary stagger for him, really helps with Soul Reaper Cannon Terminators and other guys you have to like knock out of animation. So really strong option for that. I would say it's about on par with the Inferno Pistol currently, and maybe a little bit above. I would put it firmly in the B tier. It's by no means bad. It's just not quite on the level of the Heavy Bolt Pistol, and I wouldn't say it's as good as the final weapons we'll get into in a bit. But the Neo Volkite, definitely a strong option. I just think it needs some buffs to its CHP recovery to be even better. Next weapon we have here is the Heroic Tier Bolt Pistol, the Honorific Relic Tier Bolt Pistol, the 3-round burst variant of the Standard Bolt Pistol. Now in patch 9.0, they did buff up the Standard Bolt Pistol to have a 1.25 times headshot multiplier now, and while it didn't do a ton for this version, for the Heroic version, it did a tremendous amount of bonus damage. This gun is just a strict upgrade to the Standard Bolt Pistol in my opinion. The ammo economy is a little bit worse because you do have a 3-round burst mechanic, but the utility of this weapon is way better. You have amazing CHP recovery, amazing damage at times, and pretty decent ammo economy, and really, like we mentioned before, high CHP recovery on your secondary weapon in this game is very important for it being top tier. You can take full advantage of this on the Bulwark and the Assault class, and I like this weapon quite a bit. I think it's currently my favorite secondary in the game, to be honest, because it's just a ton of fun to use, and it has a great synergy with classes like the Sniper, because the Pattern of Excellence perk requires you to get 3 consecutive headshots to get an equipment charge back, and this one will count for every single one of those on every single burst for your secondary, which is a very powerful option. Now I would say a downside of this weapon is that the CHP recovery is strong, it's just very headshot dependent. This is true for the Heavy Bolt Pistol with the single shot damage does chunk your HP back a little bit more than this one does. Now, if you actually burst them in the head, you will get that huge CHP recovery, but missing your shots can be a huge detriment to you. And like I mentioned before, all the headshot multiplier weapons do struggle a bit versus Chaos Spawn currently, because Chaos Spawn are bugged. Not only this weapon's fault, it's more like, Saber's fault for bugging out Chaos Spawn, but I just wanted to mention that here, because this weapon is definitely better versus Tyranids than Chaos. Same thing with the Heavy Bolt Pistol. But for now, I would still put it in the A tier. It is a very strong gun, one of my favorite secondaries in the entire game. It also just looks cool as fuck. That's like the best way I could put this. It's like one of the coolest looking weapons for most of the outfits in the game. And if you're going to buy a heroic weapon, I would get this one first because it's on every single class. But that's all I have to say about the Honorific Relic Tier Bolt Pistol for now. Final weapon we have here is the Plasma Pistol. Now, if you've watched this channel before, you know the Plasma Pistol is the best secondary weapon in this game overall currently. Patch 9.0 did buff up the rate of fire plasma to have a stupidly fast charge rate. Its CHP recovery is simply absurd. Its damage, especially on classes like Tactical with Plasma Boost, is kind of ridiculous. This is the fastest charging plasma weapon in the entire game, and the CHP recovery is comparable to the charge shots of the Heavy Plasma and the Plasma Incinerator, all while being a pocket weapon that you can just pull out on like basically every powerful class in this game. Really kind of busted option currently. Also doesn't need headshot multipliers at all to pull off its full CHP recovery. Very strong versus Chaos Spawn, Terminators to stagger them, because a big thing about the Plasma Pistol is that the charge shots will stagger enemies. So a Soul Reaper Cannon Terminator shooting you from across the map that you cannot reach with an Inferno Pistol, or you have to charge up with a Neo Volkite Pistol, you can just shoot one charge shot that like comes out in 2 seconds at and stagger them out of that. So really good option for that enemy. And on top of the absurd CHP recovery of this weapon, it is on both Assault and Bulwark currently, and Assault and Bulwark have the Advanced Conditioning perk and Defense Mechanism perk respectively. That perk gives you a 50% slower contested health recovery fade, so this weapon is able to pull off a full CHP recovery very easily on those classes. To be honest, the rate of fire plasma pistol buff was the biggest buff Assault got on top of that perk in the entire game. It put him in a way better position, and also you don't have to use any headshot multipliers to completely nail the Chaos Spawn in this game and get all of your HP back, including bosses. Now, I will say the ammo economy does suck on this weapon, but even with that, the Bulwark, it does have perks like Auxiliary Reload to give him back ammunition on his secondary, including this weapon, so it's much better on him, like most things in the Assault class. And I will also say that the Plasma Pistol, despite having this incredible DPS, is not very strong versus Neurothropes and Zoanthropes because it doesn't get the benefit off of headshot multipliers on them compared to the Honorific Reliquary Bolt Pistol or the Heavy Bolt Pistol, which are better for those in particular. That's pretty much the only downside of this weapon though, besides the ammo economy, and I would still say it is overall the best weapon in the game currently for the secondary slot and firmly in the S tier. Kind of lore accurate that Plasma is just on top because these are supposed to be the heaviest hitting weapons in the game. If you're building like a full Plasma build on either the heavy or the tactical, it feels very, very strong and it's a ton of fun to use. Anyways, guys, that is all for my secondary tier list here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Where would you rank all these secondaries and which one is your favorite? If you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye.